Hello, it's MrBwite here, and today I'll show you how to make this wallpaper. So let's jump right in. In Photoshop, go to File, New, and copy the image in the description below, and it should come up as clipboard. And if you press OK and press Ctrl V, go to Edit, Paste, then the image should come here. Next, you want to go to Image, then Canvas Size, then change this to pixels. Then change the width to 4000 pixels and the height to 4000 pixels because you want a square aspect ratio. Next, zoom out by Control minus, and then if you go to the move tool here by pressing V or by clicking this icon, you can move the image up to the top left, and you can resize the image by holding this arrow and pulling it down to the bottom right. Then click this arrow here. So you will have the image, and you can zoom in by Control plus. And then this image is not very smooth. So to make it smooth, you might have to zoom out a little to make it. You can see the entire image. And then go to the clone stamp tool, which is just here under the brush, and choose a very big brush around 350-ish, and make it 0% hardness. Now select a nice slightly darker area of the image, which is right beside the light image. Hold Alt and click that part, and then hold Alt and click that part, and then draw around any other part. So that it should copy that area onto here, and if you draw it again beside it, copy this again, draw it beside it, and continue this process on until the entire image is filled with these little mountains. This smoothens the image out and is very essential to making a good planet. In a good planet, of course, it's not all even mountains. Therefore, you should take some darker areas, press Alt, and put it in between this area. So it won't make it completely even, which is good, because planets aren't completely even. So once you've done a good bit of copying, you can just copy around the top left of it and just draw on. Hopefully it should work. Yep. And then copy top left and just draw on again. Copy top left and draw on. And with this process you can cover the entire image in a relatively short span. And you can see the entire image is nearly done. Remember to go over the corners, as you will probably forget. You might forget them. And just pressing Alt, holding on to any middle of the pattern, and just copying on. If you get a edge like this, then don't worry, just go over it again with a different part of the image and add some more black spots maybe. And that looks quite good. So next you want to go to just add some more black spots just in case. Now go to Edit, then Define Pattern and press OK. Then go to File, New, make a new canvas, 4000 pixels by 4000 pixels. Then go to background, press Control, hold Control, and then press U, and change the lightness to very dark, to black. Or you can go to Image, Adjustments, Hue Saturation, and change the lightness there. Next, create a new layer, and then select the elliptical marquee tool, and holding Shift, draw a circle, and then move it so it's around the center of the image. And if you hold it and press Shift, it does kind of snap on to random places, which I assume is the next unit on this grid. So after you've selected this, you want to fill this with the pattern you just made here. So you go to Paint Bucket tool. It might not be Paint Bucket for you, it might be Gradient tool. So right click it and select Paint Bucket tool, and this should say foreground, but you should click this arrow and change it to pattern. Now click inside the circle and it should make this pattern come into this circle. Now why do we use a very large image? It's so when we do the next step, the make it more spherical by going to distort and clicking spherize, and we zoom out here, we can kind of get some idea of how it looks like. You can resize this to make it look better. I like a relatively high one, and then if you press OK, we needed a large image to make the sides look more spherical. So if we press Ctrl Z, you can clearly see the change. It looks more like a planet now. So next, we actually want to make the real planet itself. So if we click File, New, and now change this to half the size of this which you made, around 2000 pixels, and press OK. Do the same for this one. Change the background to black by pressing Ctrl U on top of this, or going to Image, Adjustments, Use Saturation, and making it black. Next, create a new layer again, and select the elliptical marquee tool, holding Shift, draw another circle, center it as well, and press Shift, and it should snap on. Next, you want to fill this with a nice dark blue, so select kind of a darkish blue color, like a dark blue, yes. It shouldn't be very light. Go to the fill tool, which you just used, but change this to foreground color from pattern, and then you should get a nice planet here. If you press Ctrl D, of course this is nowhere near finished. Take this and duplicate it by dragging it onto this layer here, and this time go to the colors and press this little button here. It should turn this black. Now select the paint bucket again and make this one black. So layer 2 is black. Now select duplicate it. So we have 3 layers here. The first one should be called base. Second one should be called atmosphere. And the third one is called shadow. Shadow. If you double click on the lettering, it should let you rename it, or you can right click and press rename. Right click and rename, which is actually not here, so just double click on the lettering and it should work. Next, you want to hide the shadow layer. Now go to the atmosphere, go to effects, and go to blending options. Go to inner shadow and change this color to a nice bluish color, around not very light but slightly darker. And now change the opacity to 100%. Now the size of this to around choke around 10, size around 188, and press OK. And you shouldn't be able to see this because it's on normal. Click the layer properties here and change it to screen. Now you should be able to see a nice color, and the edges should be slightly darker. If you go to effects again, go to outer glow this time, change this color to a slightly lighter color and press OK. Change it to opacity 100, size increase it to 144, spread slightly. Now press OK. Next, go to click that again, go to effects again, and this time go to inner shadow. Change this color to the darker color we picked, kind of a darker color, and then do edge 100% opacity and change this size down about 193, and the choke up to 3, and press OK. Now you should have a nice planet here. Next, click enable the shadow layer, so it looks like an eclipse, but it's not really. Then you go to the shadow, go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and make it around 100 and press enter. So this is the shadow. You can actually move this pressing V or selecting the move tool here, and you can move it to the bottom right here where it's now this is the shadow which so the sun's here somewhere and it's facing towards the planet, so this is shadow it casts because it's not directly in front. So we can make it bigger by holding shift and dragging this up and make it quite big and then move it down so it's very soft, and move it just enough and like this just to the bottom right. That looks good. There's too much glow there, so if you double click effects you can change the outer glow and make it a little bit less intense, around 100. That's okay. Next you want to actually move the real pattern on, so go to this layer, and this is the pattern we made earlier. Select the layer, select the move tool, drag it up onto this layer and drop it down here. It should be very big, so you can see you can hold this, press shift and make it a lot smaller. Now you want to move this above the planet. Now move this layer just above base, click the take first, move it above base but below atmosphere. Now you want to move it so this edge is actually outside, because moving this along would take a long time and we don't really have much time. So what we have to do is actually clip this off, which is quite easy. We can resize, we can move this a little bit, and then we can go to the base, and above the base hold control and click the base. Now we have selected the planet itself, but we want to select the outside, so we go to select inverse and press delete. So it should delete the outside of the planet. Control D would deselect this. Now we have a very detailed planet here. We can zoom in and it looks quite good. So what we can do is go to this layer, go to this here, normal, and change it to, oh, not this yet. Okay, first you can change the opacity down to around 33%. Then you can duplicate it. If you go just outside this, not drag it, but just outside, it changes into a kind of two arrows, one pointing up and one pointing left. If you hold this and then turn this, then hold shift, you can turn it 90 degrees. Now press tick, copy it again, do the same thing. Just outside, it should turn with two arrows, rotate it 90 degrees. Press tick. Now hold the top layer. You've made 3 copies of this. Select the top one, hold shift and click the bottom one. You select all of them, then right click and press merge layers. Now we have all these layers on. Next what we do is we duplicate this, and this time we make it soft light. Now we can go into image, adjustments, brightness and contrast, and make the contrast about 15 and the brightness down, all the way down. This just adds more detail. And that's the planet finished. So all we have to do now is make a new file, new layer, make it around 1920 pixels by 1080, 1080p, and then press OK. And then make this black by pressing Control U above it, make it black. Press OK. Then we have to group all these layers together. So hold the top layer and then go to the bottom, just above background, and then hold Shift and click the base. You should select all of these, or you can individually select them by pressing the first one and then controlling all of them, which takes longer and it doesn't actually work. Sometimes it's very conditional. And then you press Control G and then you make a group. Once you make a group, you can actually press the move tool and actually move the entire group. So we move it up to the this layer and we let it go here. Then we can move this down to the bottom right, resize it a little, move it up. Anything you want, it's really now your choice what you want to do. Press a tick, go to the text tool and click the bottom right here, type anything you want, your name, whatever you want. I'm going to type MrBwite. Make it white by clicking this box here and choosing white. Press OK. Oh, sorry, MrBwite. And then press a tick, choose the move tool, and resize the layer, shift, whatever you want. Move it behind the layer. Oh, sorry, Control Z. Move this just above the background, but not on the group, so it's there. So you can actually move it back so it looks like you've actually made this yourself, because it's so good some people might not think you've made it yourself. So then you can just resize it to make it a bit bigger. And I actually prefer to add some effects to this, so just press the tick here, go to your text, press effects, click blending options and do an inner shadow. Just move the size to around 9, choke a bit higher to 5, and then press OK, and that's it, folks. That's how you make a wallpaper on Photoshop. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and even comment. Thank you.